Factually inaccurate. Morally correct. This is Babylon Bee Radio. Our top story. Last week, PayPal faced a backlash after introducing verbiage in its acceptance use policy that allowed the company to fine users $2,500 for, quote, misinformation. While the company has said that the verbiage was posted in error, and they never intended to fine users for misinformation, the online community has spotted additional fine print allowing PayPal to levy $2,500 fees against white people for reparations. Some social justice advocates have questioned where the funds will be sent, asking whether the decision makers overseeing the distribution of funds will strictly adhere to principles of equity and intersectionality. Concerns were raised that the funds were earmarked for, quote, building equitable housing for historically oppressed BLM organizers. But PayPal has assured these critics that to avoid appearances of corruption, the funds will be given to LLCs held by the organizers for buying mansions and funding parties. At airtime, the reparations have been withdrawn from the accounts of all white people, as well as people who, quote, declined to state their race or were, quote, Asian, which reparation experts have said is, quote, white adjacent. In a recent speech, President Biden was quoted as saying,
"Let me start off with two words. Made in America."
The internationally respected and trusted fact-checking organization PolitiFact examined Biden's statement and rated it mostly true.
While it is technically true that the phrase "made in America" is 3 words, it's important to realize that 3 is only one number away from 2,
said the piece.
One number away isn't that much. It's only a difference of 1. Therefore, we rate President Biden's claim as mostly true.
That didn't stop conservatives from pouncing on what they perceived as being a gaffe. Look at Biden on the stage. The dude's not even there, said Congressman Ted Cruz. He babbles nonsensical, untrue things constantly. He has no business leading the country. Snopes then rated Cruz's statements as false, based on PolitiFact's fact check of Biden. After her divorce with Tom Brady becomes finalized, supermodel Gisele Bundchen is expected to own 3 times as many Super Bowl rings as legendary Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers.
Gosh, that can't be right. I'm just a model while he is supposedly one of the best quarterbacks ever. How could I possibly wind up with 3 times as many rings as Aaron Rodgers? I'll have to call and ask Aaron again how many rings he has.
Despite only taking 3 of Mr. Brady's 7 Super Bowl rings, Bundchen discovered from her phone call that she indeed had far surpassed the Green Bay hero.
Yes, Gisele, I really only have 1 ring.
Are you sure?
Yes, I know. That's very surprising.
Maybe you should count again.
No, I really don't think I need to count my collection again.
God.
Thanks, Gisele.
The sports world has been reeling ever since the news broke of Mr. Brady's divorce. I guess Gisele was just looking for someone better looking and more successful than Tom, said former teammate Rob Gronkowski. Man, I can't wait for Tom to officially be single. Oh, Tom is so kind, so generous. You would not believe how fit he still is. His eyes still sparkle and... Wait, what was I talking about? At airtime, reporters spotted Gisele with her new boyfriend, Steve, a middle-aged insurance salesman from Indiana. The gay romantic comedy Bros saw a disappointing first week at the box office. Analysts are shocked that a movie aimed at 2% of the population fell short of attracting a broader audience.
Once again, straight Americans have failed the gay community at the box office. We said the movie was not for cis-hetero oppressors, and they still failed to show up.
Director and star Billy Eichner sent a series of angry tweets condemning straight viewers. Industry analysts have weighed in, confirming that they do not expect global ticket sales to exceed domestic sales, since even fewer people in international audiences are part of the target audience for the film, and also since most Middle Eastern and Asian countries announced the death penalty for anyone caught watching it. Eichner seems to recognize that the domestic box office haul is pivotal, as his tweets condemned
all the Philistine homophobes who don't want to see my gay movie.
The analysts have also suggested that timing may have been an issue, as there were several Major League Soccer games occurring at the same time. Eichner was later seen covering Bros posters and box office placards with Morbius ads to trick more people into buying tickets. Meanwhile, woke Hollywood has made another despicable move to turn children's entertainment into a weapon of their cultural war. This time they've turned another beloved children's character gay. Oh wait, it's Velma from Scooby-Doo? Sure, whatever, go for it. Just as long as they don't touch Daphne. Local man Vincent Palmer revealed his total unfamiliarity with life or God today as he assured a suffering friend that God would never give him more than he could handle.
Hey, don't worry, man. You got the strength to tackle whatever God lets come your way. I'm sure that's in the Bible somewhere. Probably the book of Job or something.
Mr. Palmer was attempting to comfort his friend Brad, who'd just been diagnosed with lupus only a week after losing his job.
I feel like I'm drowning. I've just got nothing left. Vince says this is when God wants me to pull myself up by my own bootstraps. But I'm starting to get suspicious that Vince isn't real accurate with these Bible quotes.
Brad decided to check the Bible for himself and quickly discovered a very different story.
Wow, like half the characters here just lay down and beg to die at some point. Moses, Elijah, Jonah, Jeremiah, Job. They all tell God they wish they could just cash it in. Then you got the Psalms of David. The man apparently lived half his life in total despair. God says he's still there with all of them, and you can trust his love. But he sure ain't stopping life from bringing you to the breaking point.
At Airtime, Brad was sharing with Vince the good news that sometimes the place where you were completely crushed and defeated is the easiest place to hear God speak. A local man is being forced to leave behind friends, family, and even his own name to seek his fortune in a far-off country after a rather awkward ending to a business call.
Okay, Tom, let's just put a pin in that and circle back with those Q3 sales figures on Monday. Okay, I love you.
Said Dave Smith before covering his mouth at the realization of his horrifying mistake. Sources say Mr. Smith is now packing up all his earthly belongings to start a new life elsewhere.
Well, I had a good run as an American citizen named Dave, but there's nothing for me here anymore. I can never see or hear from my coworker Tom ever again. Tell my family I'll miss them dearly.
Said Muhammad Jafar Muhammad, whose name was previously Dave. Sources say Muhammad had started a brand new career in Qatar but had to move again after attempting to shake a coworker's hand and grabbing only their fingertips. Local woman Francine Guackmeister faked another headache after her husband Alan suggested going up to the bedroom for a romantic night of watching the Lord of the Rings motion picture trilogy extended edition. She claimed the headache came on suddenly due to having a stressful day, which came as a surprise as it was date night and they had enjoyed dinner at her favorite taco joint followed by a couple's massage. He'd hoped things would really put her in the mood for the extended edition's 11 hours and 36 minutes of extra music, special effects, and Middle-earth lore.
I'm not saying I don't believe you have a headache, sweetie.
Said Alan while reverently holding the 14-pound box set in his hands.
Just that I'm beginning to wonder if you even care about the beautifully crafted world created by Tolkien, faithfully and meticulously adapted by Peter Jackson. Don't you realize the work that went into the practical effects alone? And the performance by Sir Ian McKellen? It's like it doesn't even move you anymore.
Francine insisted it had nothing to do with the days-long movie trilogy that she had already been forced to watch at least 17 times, but that it really was a really real, super bad headache. At Airtime, Alan had faked falling asleep after his wife had suggested maybe watching 50 First Dates would help her headache. Now you're up to date on the only news that matters. Find more fake news you can trust at BabylonBee.com. Until next time, this is Austin Robertson, the voice of the Babylon Bee. So long.